How many instruments do you guys know? It seems like you can all hop around and hop on all of them.
Lucas just learned clarinet,
Yeah,
so
sounded great. Zane actually broke my clarinet,
yeah, I
though.
had enough of it.
No longer.
The more you talk about it, Lucas, it does seem like your jazz training is still very much ingrained within you. If you're like, hey guys, I know I'm playing the drums, but what if I pull out a clarinet during rehearsal? How do we feel about that?
I break it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Zane felt about it, so it worked out. Worked out.
Hello, my name is Gavin Berger. I make content about vinyl records, music, and concert related content, and I'm lucky enough here today to be talking with all four members of the band The Thing. How you guys doing?
Hey,
Hey,
Hey, what's up, Gavin?
How's it going? We got Jack, Zane, Michael, and Lucas. Thanks for joining me, guys.
thank you.
of
Thanks for
course.
having us.
We're a fan
Nice.
of yours.
Well, I appreciate it. Can you go down the line and say what instruments you play?
I play bass guitar.
I play drums.
I play guitar.
I also play guitar. I also sing sometimes.
Just to give people a little bit of context, you're in the middle of a North American tour with 36 shows in just over 2 months. So I'm not a musician. That feels like a lot in a short period of time, but you're about a third of the way into it. How's it going?
It's been good. I mean, we're in Boise, Idaho now, and we got a few days off for the first time. Most of our off days we're just driving like
Yeah.
10 hours. So it's been great. All the shows have been solid and great attendance and energy and really awesome bands as well, like opening bands.
Nice. Are you guys doing like local groups or has a band been like coming with you to the dates?
Mostly local, except on the West Coast, the Macs are going to join us. Good friends
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
for a bunch of dates.
Has there been a favorite city so far?
By Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago is awesome.
Yeah, Milwaukee too, always a riot, which is great. Played at the legendary Cactus Club,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
one of our favorite places. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
those two were great.
I mean, I don't have all 36 cities memorized, but out of all of them, let's get controversial. What's your most favorite city to
Ooh.
perform in?
Well, dude, I mean, there's some we kind of picked this all these shows based off of the good venues in each city that are kind of more of the rock and roll places to play because we've been around the country I think 4 times now touring. So it's a tough question, but like OKC is pretty awesome. Chicago is amazing. Played at the Empty Bottle, which is just a staple there.
Nice. That's a good answer. It's very like all 36 cities are our favorite cities. That's why we picked these cities.
Yeah, wherever you're from.
Yeah, the least favorite is
No, well, I feel like an easy answer for favorite, you could have just said New York City.
well, true.
I don't think people would have taken offense to that
Yeah, but that's not fun.
because you guys are based in New York City, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then we'll get into how did the thing come to be? Because you're not all from New York City. So how'd you guys all meet?
So I met Michael in middle school, back in well, like 2009 or something. And uh yeah, we just we went to a pretty music intensive like junior boarding school called Indian Mountain School. So we just like played guitar music through that. And then I went to high school, Millbrook School with Jack and Joe, our tour manager. And then after that, we just all got together like freshman, sophomore year of college and just came up with the idea of we wanted to start a band and went through a plethora of names and settled on the thing at some point and just made that debut record, Here's the Thing, during COVID. Then decided to move to the city and start playing that circuit as much as we could, get odd jobs, whatever, all live together. And then come what, 2023, one of my friends I went to college with, who's also in a band, shout out Joey Haynes. He, I ran into him at a cafe and I was like, we had a tour booked and we didn't have a drummer. So we were like 3 weeks out and it was like, all right, we really need a drummer. So this booking agency doesn't drop us. And he was like, yeah, I got the perfect guy. He wants to tour more, whatever. So we met Lucas and it just kind of fell into our lap. And as soon as we played that first rehearsal, it was just like, yeah, this is it. This is gonna be the supporting cast. Yeah.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I was lucky enough to see you guys on your first date of this tour at VersoFest at the public library. I'm sure the best type of venue for a rock show is a
Always.
public library.
That was great. It was electric.
Always.
Yeah, shit's always going down in the library. You just gotta go see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually, I mean, that was semi-sarcastic, but it was actually a really great show.
We got congratulated for not making the joke of we're playing in a library. It's
Yeah.
gonna be loud.
Yeah,
I was proud of us for just playing.
it takes a lot of self-control.
We've been working on it.
Totally makes sense to me seeing you guys that you've all known each other for a while, that you're all so in sync and in and out of songs.
Yeah, it's really important to us to have just subconsciously seeing lots of shows, and there's little things where it's like less dead space and transitions. Actually, when all audio stops or lights, you kind of get subconsciously taken out of things. So having it just keep rolling is a really good thing, I think.
You mentioned the 3 different albums, which I do have. Here's the first one. There's the second one. Here's the third one.
Yes.
And actually, what I really wanted to talk about, the whole reason for this call is I wanted to congratulate you guys. I think your album titles might be the best album titles and the most clever album titles I've ever heard from a band, possibly ever.
Hell
I think
yeah,
that they are like genius.
Thank you.
Thank you, dude. It just kind of came with the territory.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense with the album name. For those who don't know, your first album came out in 2023. Here's The Thing, which is great for a band called The Thing. Totally makes sense. Second album, 2024, you got The Thing Is, and then 2025, self-titled The Thing. So now my question is, you got 23, 24, 25. We're now in the big year of 26. Where's LP4? And is it going to have The Thing in the name?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
We're working on it at the
That's
moment.
confidential.
That's fair. Do you think that you would do a, who's the thing? Or where? I mean, you could do the 5 W's or whatever. You could do a who's the thing, where's the thing, what's the thing?
Yeah.
What's the thing is pretty good. Or you could just do something different altogether.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the album will really just kind of shape that decision on
Yeah.
on what, because it's cool to it'd be cool to kind of do sort of a concept.
Well, and even I've found, as somebody who's then listened to all of your albums, that they have a lot of bands, any of the songs could seem like they're all from the same album, but I feel like each of your albums has a slightly different sound and shows the growth and evolution of the band. So how would you guys describe your sound, and then how do you think it's evolved over the 3 albums?
We've tried to be pretty intentional about that, and the first one was kind of a mishmash. We pieced that together over a year or two, and recording in different places and in bedrooms, and everybody playing different instruments and stuff. So that was kind of the feel around that one. And then the second and third, which are more of kind of closer to our philosophy about things, are recorded in really short periods of time and in the same room, all of us playing together. And the last album, the self-titled one, we did that in 2 weeks, and it's all 4 of us playing in a small pool house, and we made the whole thing without a computer, all on 1-inch tape. And I think that was our kind of concept in making it, see if we can do that and really challenge ourselves, write everything and just record it. And that's where it definitely feels like it's even if the songs are in different genres, it's all like cohesive thing.
So based on your instruments, what have you found is your favorite way to record, whether it's the cranking it out analog style or taking the time to really tweak it and feel like your section of it's really perfect?
Personally, I think like when we do kind of our main lineup, Mike and I on guitar, Zane on bass, and Lucas drums, that's all in a room. It's that feels the best.
Yeah, I don't think we've done too much like
Yeah, we've only really done
overdubs.
one thing. Yeah.
Like on
Yeah.
on the thing, we overdubbed like some tambourine and organ, maybe a guitar here or there.
Yeah, we didn't have any tracks.
Yeah, we ran out of tracks.
Yeah. So then I guess it's a matter of using what you have.
Yeah. that was a fun exercise, just being limited to that. Happy we did it. I don't think we'll do it again, but happy we did it.
Probably not as easy as other methods of recording an album, but yeah, like you said,
No.
fun experiment.
It was cool though. No screens was like really an intense process. Like it kind of you'd think it wouldn't be like that big of a deal, but like having the visual element of like arrangement and just like seeing the whole song on a Pro Tools or Ableton, whatever it is. We all kind of grew up with that um, readily available. So doing it without screens where it's just you're just listening. And we had a whiteboard that we would just kind of like doodle on and write out arrangements and whatever. But yeah, it was really cool. It was a lot more colorful. But that was great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It's more feeling too. It's like we felt when it was right versus like we got to, so we didn't really get to hear, didn't get to always really hear it back.
So then with the process of creating a song, especially since the 3 out of 4 of you, I don't know when Lucas is going to have his singing debut. Zane is usually the one singing the bulk of them, but then I know Jack and Michael, you guys hop on a few songs. So what's kind of your songwriting process of like, is it that Jack, you're only singing a song that you brought forward to sing, or do you guys all kind of write everything together and then figure out, oh, well, this kind of fits Michael's voice more, or Zane wants to stand front and center, and Zane wants to do this one.
It's kind of like a Ringo situation.
Yeah.
You get one on the album.
Yeah.
No, it's all been pretty natural. Like, kind of just makes sense in the moment when I guess whose voice fits or who's really kind of feeling it in the moment. The way that we write things have been somebody has an idea, a small idea, and bring it to everybody else, and we just expand on it and make an arrangement. So it's usually kind of been figured out kind of in an unspoken way like that.
Did you guys, I know that you said you met in middle school and then high school and then later, did you guys all go to college for music, or did you just kind of take lessons when you were younger and then now are kind of learning as you go?
I did. I went to college for music and at Berkeley in Boston, and I think we all played in different bands in college and stuff. And
Yeah, I went to NYU for jazz.
What about you, Zane?
No, I just learning as I go along.
Yeah, same here.
That's cool. So then, Lucas, was it more of like a classically trained kind of jazz?
I wouldn't say classically trained. It's just like, you get lessons with a teacher. My teacher was this guy, Lenny White. So they're like private lessons, and then you do ensembles where you play like certain types of music, which is really cool. And then you do like history and ear training. So
Do you think that coming from a little bit more of the jazz drumming aspect, like how does that impact how you think you'd play a rock song?
that's a great question. I think that it's actually going to like learning jazz is actually, I believe, the best way to learn rock drumming because all like the original rock drummers were all huge jazz heads, like Keith Moon, Ginger Baker, John Bonham. They were all like, their top 5 artists were like Elvin Jones, Tony Williams, like all these jazz drummers, because that's what was out there at that age, and those were the guys they looked to. And I think that actually that's lost today in like rock drumming. I think there's like a foundation that is missing in drumming, which actually comes from that because the music is really like comes from jazz and blues and like black music, and that like hardiness to the drums and like the low end and those sounds like come from that. And I think that's kind of lost. There's like the beat and the groove and the rhythm is like really, if you really want to find that, I think you got to look like to the actual source, which is what all those drummers and people look towards. So yeah, that's my kind of long answer, but so I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for it. I think it was super beneficial.
Yeah. Jack, did you go to school specifically for guitar, or was it more music composition?
it was more for recording. That's kind of what I was really interested in. And but same with Lucas, you have to do the runaround for all the stuff, conducting and ear training and stuff.
How do you think that understanding how a song comes together as a whole benefits writing songs?
I think it's really important. I think a big thing that we all take really seriously is the arrangement of things, because there's so much art and kind of creativity found in arranging stuff. You have a small idea, and how do you take that and make it a song?
What were some influences that you guys had growing up listening to music, whether it's influences with the music that you listen to in life in general or influences with the band and writing your own music?
I think Lucas kind of nailed it too. Like with, it's really important to kind of go back to the source and learn the lineage and history of music, like across how all genres go. It's like the School of Rock whiteboard. You got to see where things have come from, because that's
Yeah.
it's really important.
Yeah, it's
But
important to
a lot
look back, yeah, to then understand the future music and also where elements originate from. So then name me an actual artist. Who influenced you, Jack?
all the 60s psychedelic stuff really influences me. The Nuggets compilation, the Kinks is a big one.
That's good. What about you, Zane?
We're all pretty big like blues. Like I don't know. We made the pilgrimage to Clarksdale a couple years back, and I mean a lot of that Delta blues stuff was definitely a big influence starting out. But I mean, the Beatles were huge. That was like a lot of it. That and then growing up in New York, I mean, you can't not mention like the Strokes and that modern wave of New York rock and roll instrumental music, LCD sound system, that like New York energy definitely plays a role. But yeah, I mean, mainly like, yeah, the Beatles was like a pretty big one. The Kinks are another massive influence. Muddy Waters. Love like Electric Mud. That one definitely changed my head a bit.
My biggest are like I grew up on like a Zeppelin and the Dead Boys and Rolling Stones, and then I got super deep into like Miles and Coltrane. So and Stevie Wonder, James Brown, like so I'd say all those are like big ones for me.
You gotta listen to the early stuff, like the Velvet Underground is awesome, like amazing breakthrough kind of primary source of like punk rock kind of, and but then there's cool stuff later on that kind of influences us, I feel like, as a band with like more modern extreme sounds like the OCs and King Gizzard, people who like really keep going in invention and like of a genre. Like that stuff is just influential in the fact that maybe it's not exactly what we sound like, but it's like they go there and it's like really far out, and that's really cool to be like influenced by. And people like same with like Sonic Boom or like a Spaceman 3. It's just like all that early stuff happened, and then you can kind of see what people are making of it. And like Spaceman 3 was definitely influenced by like Velvet Underground. It's cool to see what they do with that. And it's like really extreme sounds and like vibes.
All the different people who are progressing the genre as a whole and showing what can be rock music. Because I also feel like every other week some news publication is publishing, oh, is this band saving rock music?
That's so
like,
true.
Rock music's been dead, but like there's been rock music, especially I feel like in what's it like living in New York City and being so in that scene. I mean, I go see a lot of rock shows in New York City, so I know that the rock scene is alive and well in New York City. So then I'll ask those questions that they ask. Do you think the rock scene is alive and well in New York City?
Yeah, I think it's a marketing campaign. The rock is dead. I don't think that's ever been the case. Yeah, absolutely. It's always been alive and well. I think it's disrespectful to say it's been dead with like all these. There's always such good music happening, especially in New York City, but same with London, same with yeah, Berlin.
Australia, everywhere. It's never died and it's never gonna die, just like our father Neil Young said.
Yeah, it just depends where the tech lords want to put their eyes, I guess.
True. Yeah, there's great rock music coming out in New York City as much as there is great rock music coming out of Australia, as much as there's great rock music coming out of the UK and everything in between. Speaking, you mentioned Berlin, and I actually wanted to bring up Berlin. You guys had a very cool show last July in Berlin. You opened up, oh, you can't really see it. This poster that I have right here is for the Black Keys when I
Oh,
saw
nice.
them
With
at
the card,
Saratoga,
yeah.
New York. You guys
Yeah.
opened for the Black Keys last July. How was that? That seems like crazy.
That was a dream, man.
It was crazy. The three of us, Zane, Mike and I kind of first like met, bonded over the Black Keys. So it was a serious full circle moment, and it was insane. We played in front of 10,000 Germans, and they are they just stand still and don't clap until the end of the song, and it was a surreal experience. But yeah, we got to see Dan Auerbach's whole crazy guitar rig, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Pat Carney gave us some words of wisdom. That was really sweet of him. But yeah, they're great. Really, like definitely a big full circle moment.
Yeah, I think the first money I ever made was playing I Got Mine with Zayn at a Battle of the Bands.
Yeah,
So we owe
came
them for
second
that
place.
too. We owe them $300 or whatever.
Yeah.
We played the Black Keys song "I Got Mine" at the contest at the Battle of the Bands, and we came in second place because we did an outstanding job playing
Yeah.
that
Oh,
song.
I'm sure. That's a
Yeah,
great song.
$300. I mean, with inflation now,
It's
man,
pretty
we're talking
good
like
for some kids.
that's a
That's
month's
great.
rent.
That's great.
Yeah. Do you think that was probably when you were in high school or even middle school? Like way back?
I
Yeah,
think
we
we
were-
were ninth grade or eighth grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
13 or 14.
Nice. Well, so then were you both on like guitar and bass, or was one of you on drums?
I was playing the drums for that. Zane, you were playing guitar?
I played guitar for that one. And then we did Taking Care of Business, and I played drums, and Mike played guitar.
Nice. So then how many instruments do you guys know? It seems like you can all hop around and hop on all of them.
Lucas just learned clarinet. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sounded great.
Zane actually broke my clarinet.
yeah, I had enough of it.
No longer.
Mike's been playing the viola.
Yeah,
Nice.
Mike
Yeah.
played viola. We're all learning piano a little bit.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. Do you guys think that you could see yourselves? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of up and coming bands that have been experimenting with rock and folk sound and incorporating more what they might call chamber instruments of a viola. I mean, it's not too discommon to have a piano. Do you think that you could see yourselves delving a little bit more into, I guess, what is maybe more like art rock, as people would call it, or like stuff in that genre? I guess more like, Black Country New Road.
The windmill scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just learned about the windmill scene, so we feel kind of out of the loop a bit.
It's just like a venue kind of area in London where a lot of like art rock stuff comes from, like
Yeah.
Black MIDI and things like that.
But yeah, to answer your question, I mean, I think it's just constant exploration in whatever we have at our disposal, to be honest, because we've been limited for so long. So it's been kind of like a inching our way towards having like a bunch of toys. So yeah, I mean, it's always fun to just kind of run the viola through pedals or whatever. Like, and yeah, honestly, like anything, clarinet before I broke it. But yeah.
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 Yeah, sometimes it's just whatever sounds good.
Is there a specific, so I mean, you talked a little bit about the progression between kind of psych and into a little bit of blues rock, and I know you guys got like garage rock and a little bit of the indie scene with New York City, and I feel like some of your songs, there's a little bit of like Arctic Monkeys, like some of that UK kind of stuff. Is there a specific kind of sub-arm of rock, not even necessarily rock specifically, but a sub-arm of any music genre that you feel like you would like to try to tackle as kind of the next experiment?
Not off the top. That's a great question. I think it's just, I mean, we just kind of let it happen.
The focus is probably more on just developing whatever our sound is, focus on what we're feeling the most, find out what we're feeling, because it's hard to know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
So to achieve that is kind of the goal, I think.
Yeah.
To grow naturally and see wherever it takes, maybe buy a new flute.
Exactly.
Put some-
Flute's loads better than the clarinet.
Yeah,
yeah.
just expand a little bit.
What we haven't tried, I used to play the bassoon, and that's coming before you
That's
know it.
coming soon.
It's coming back when I can afford one.
It's coming
Yeah.
soon.
The more you talk about it, Lucas, it does seem like your jazz training is still very much ingrained within you. If you're like, hey guys, I know I'm playing the drums, but what if I pull out a clarinet during rehearsal? How do we feel about that?
I break it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Zane felt about it, so it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah. Well, you never know. So then, are you guys, are you working on the fourth album right now?
We're kind of piecing it together. We went and tried to record a whole thing at the beginning of last year, and we made a whole album, but it didn't feel exactly right. So trying to going back to the drawing board and for the first time.
What do you think, especially with the experience of having three well received albums out that you can very confidently stand behind, now that you're not really like an intro band, a band who hasn't really put out anything? How do you come at creating new music? Which you may have just answered that question of being okay to scrap it and start again.
It's a really tough thing, and I don't think we have an answer for that because these, before the philosophy was let's just, putting things out is good and let's do things quick and um, let's just make whatever we're feeling now. And now at this point where we don't have to do that or necessarily want to. And so I don't know, it's a new frontier, a challenge that we're facing. But we'll when we do it, we'll get back to you.
What are some goals that you have, not even necessarily to complete with this next album, but maybe some goals within the next few years, the next 10 years of where you hope the band is able to get to or go?
A big goal would be to play SNL. I think that would be that'd be a peak goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, just being able to just make more records. Like, if anything, if we make this fourth one and that opens the door to make a fifth one and make a sixth one, it's like I mean, that's really all you can ask. So we've gotten where we are now with those three records is it's amazing. And it's like we've been I mean, I think it's just a mix of like working hard and being lucky and being in the right place at the right time and all of that. But yeah, if we can continue to make records, I mean, that's everything else kind of figures itself out.
Do you think that the unit of the thing as it stands right now is very solid and something you'd want to continue with regardless? Or as opposed to, have you ever thought about the idea of collaborating with other bands or figuring out, I mean, who's the band that you're going down the West Coast with? Was it the Max?
Funny you bring that up.
Yeah.
We're actually going to go into the studio with them and see what happens. So
Yeah, that's basically the answer to the question I was trying to get to.
maybe the Sax or the Ming.
Yeah, I know, Jack, you said you did more producer work. Could you see yourself also potentially working on other people's projects of like helping people, even more like up and coming people produce their new tracks?
Definitely, dude. Yeah, that's something that I've been doing already, and it's just good to have the community be as large as possible and make things and help people realize their vision. And the more things that everybody makes is just it's just always positive.
There's enough sunshine for everybody.
And it's like a lot of things in the music industry and in New York, it's tough to do a lot. And we've been fortunate enough to get to a certain point where maybe we have a few resources that we could divvy out and just help people. Like we've been playing with a lot of younger bands recently, and it's no one really showed us any way. So it's nice to work with people.
You have to be that kind of mentor band that that up and coming bands would want to know because it's something that you would have wanted to know at that time.
That's a big goal. Like not quite there yet, but it'd be awesome to help out in any way that we can.
What have you guys had to overcome that you're very proud of how you got out of something better on the other side for it?
I'm proud of everything we've done, but I'm proud of we try to stay decently present, every day about thinking about our band and as a business because you got to make some money. That's the goal. And we had a booking agency that first booked us and then they started to manage us and we realized they didn't have the best interests for us. Our interest didn't align. So we just quickly made a decision, dropped them, found a new agency. And I'm proud of being able to make those like changes. Same with management. We had to change management a couple of times and you just realize what you want. And if it doesn't align, you just got to keep that vision. I think we've like maintained that pretty well.
Yeah, to add to Mike's, I think just being smart with who we surround ourselves by, and like Mike is saying, if it feels off, like we have to like continue without those people. So I think that's been really helpful. yeah, just surrounding yourself with really good people and like the right people and people who have like your best interest and vision in mind. And when you find those people, it's amazing and to have them part of your team.
Yeah, we've been very decisive, which is like I think very important. Like you just have to, yeah, be able to make difficult decisions in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome any like new beginning. Like that's the most exciting thing. Is like seeing new beginning or like a new start is like a really awesome opportunity.
Yeah, there's just so much BS that is floating around everything that has to do with music other than music itself. And when you can kind of drown that out a little bit and realize that it all gets driven by the music itself, it's the only thing that sounds cliche, but is the only thing that is actually important.
Yeah, I'm sure when you realize that the only people who are going to stand up for you guys are you guys, and as
Yeah.
long as you stand behind what you make and don't let anything negative get to you, that then you can get through whatever you got to get through.
Dude, yeah, and
Yeah,
like
well put.
I'm proud of our relationship like with each other because it's like a four-way marriage and it gets crazy sometimes, but it's it's how things get to a next level and that's it's been it's been a good learning experience.
Just being from New York, I think is like you see it all, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very real place. Um, so you can kind of see through when people promise a bit, you know, something seems too good to be true
Yeah.
or anything like that. We're all very skeptical
We
of
learned
like the
that.
music industry. That's why we're independent. We are
Yeah.
DIY till we die. You know, it's like no one's gonna do it for you. And that was something we learned pretty early on, was that you just gotta, whatever it is, you gotta make it work. You gotta print your t-shirts, you gotta ship out your t-shirts. It's all t-shirts.
Yeah. It's all t-shirts and
All
stickers.
about the merch. Yeah.
It's all t-shirts and stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do. You got to do it all. Like it's, yeah. We had like a music video very early on, opportunity, like $100,000 budget or whatever, and it just didn't. I'm so happy that happened so early on the first record, and we're just like, whoa, this is crazy. We really have to. You can't trust anybody unless you have like a real working relationship with them. It's like it's just not. Unfortunately, it's yeah.
Yeah. That it didn't end up working out, or that it did work out.
No, it didn't work out, and it was because we trusted.
It just didn't work. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the video was made, but it was garbage and
Yeah, it
like
was garbage. We just
totally embarrassing.
Trust is the name of the game.
yeah.
But
So
they gave us the yeah.
It is a liberating thing on the other end though, because when you realize that, nobody can do anything for you, you realize that, oh, you're the one who can do it. And that's, especially in this day and age,
You're the one now.
yeah, more
what that's
more
about.
acceptable.
Yeah. That's what Onion Records is, right? That's like your self label.
That's
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. And we're able to just put our music out there and make as many things as we want.
What was the kind of catalyst to wanting to create Onion Records and kind of so that you can self-release stuff versus relying on a label?
We just didn't have another choice. It was just like, yep, this is the only way to do it. And that's that's where we're still at. And it's nice because then the ball is in our court. But that's the short answer there. It's just like no other options. Might as well just do it ourselves.
Yeah, not waiting for, you know, it's just working with whatever opportunities you have right now. We were like, all right, let's do it. So we could have asked around and gone that route, but that would have just delayed everything. And, we were just very gung-ho about doing it now and being, I don't know, COVID robbed everyone of a couple of years. So we were pretty gung-ho coming out of that.
It makes a lot of sense of everything that you're saying of no one's going to do anything for you. You just got to do it, because that really applies to everything in life.
And that's really like we kind of stumbled upon that with the thing, like being the name and long live the thing being the slogan. It's just like whatever it is, whatever your thing is, just like do it, long live it.
Yeah. What were some other names that didn't make the cut back when you were trying to, before you got to the thing, which again, I think is a really great, I think you guys nailed it. I think that's a fantastic name.
Thank you.
It was called Bone Gins, and we had a librarian in high school, and her name was the opposite of that. I'm not gonna shout her out, but
Yeah, we switched the first letters.
Pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah.
It's like Joan Benson to me.
Yeah, that's
hey, Lucas.
I didn't go there.
that was the first thing that, or one of the ones that stuck.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's been a minute since then, since you've been doing this for a few years now, and since COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we mentioned the Black Key. Well, I mentioned the Black Keys. What are some other artists that you would love to see the thing on a lineup with, whether you're opening for them or they're opening for you?
Tim Heidecker and the Good Band.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that'd be
really
open
good
for
band.
them.
The really good band.
Really good band. Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
There's so many good ones. I mean, yeah, the King Gizzard World would be so cool. They have their own festival, the Field of Vision,
Yeah.
manifesting that.
Yeah, maybe you
Yeah.
could open up for them at Forest Hills. I feel like they're at Forest Hills almost every year now.
Yeah,
In the city.
that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
The we're good friends with the Mystery Lights from New York, and be awesome to go play with them. So many good. There's so many bands.
Well, then, even in a similar vein, what are you guys all listening to right now? Of other besides, I mean, I assume, do you guys even listen to your own music? Probably
Every
not.
day, every single day.
Well, I guess when you're playing it, but when you're
Yeah.
pulling up on your whatever streaming service you're using, what are you guys listening to?
I'm actually the thing's top listener, which is crazy. No, I'm
That's-
joking.
Could see the stats.
Listening to a lot of Geese lately. They've
Oh,
been
yeah.
doing a brilliant job. Just amazing records. So
There's this band that we saw last night, actually, in Boise, that I've been listening to nonstop called Ghost Woman. They're amazing, and we just happened to see them last night and played to like 30 people. It is crazy.
I've been checking out Lou Reed's catalog and Pharoah Sanders.
Yeah, I've been listening to Thurston Moore's memoir on Spotify. That's a pretty cool book about like the no wave New York music scene.
I mean, you talked a lot about almost reflecting on the history of rock and how that kind of impacts the future. Do you find whatever you're listening to has a kind of impact on the kind of music that you want to make? Whether it is that, you're listening to a lot of Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground, then you're kind of going way back to that kind of psych rock. Or if you're listening to Geese and then now all of a sudden you're screaming about bombs in your cars. I mean, I love Geese. I think I'm Geese's number one listener. Does not only influence of what you listen to growing up, but what you're listening to now impact what you're like, ooh, I didn't realize that was possible. Let me play around with doing something like that.
Yeah, I think it helps you really connect the dots. Like, there's so much you have to check out. Like, you have to check out, you know, all these great bands, new and old, if you want to like bridge the past to the present. But you need to like again go back to the source of everything, like, because then you'll start to hear all these artists and the new artists and where they got that from and who they got it from. But you got to really check everything out because, all the best artists listen to everything, not just like best rock artists don't listen to rock really on it. Like, but if you talk to any of these guys, they're probably who knows what they're listening to, but it's going to be all across the board. And I think to make like a creative product that's original, you got to really pull from everything, new and old.
You're like, oh, I bet the best rock drummers are listening to jazz right now. And
Yeah,
they're listening to flute and clarinet.
Yeah, right? That's exactly.
It's dangerous though because then you listen to something and then you just try and make something that sounds like Can or something. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
yeah, but I think that Jeff Tweedy talk, he's really like refreshing to listen to. Like his approach is cool. How he's kind of gone through his like 30 plus year career, getting influenced by different stuff. And a lot of it's just really fascinating. It's just kind of natural. So this is what we do. So learning the history of it's just like I feel like the older you get, especially as like a guy, it's like you just are drawn to history for some reason. I don't know why. Like
Yeah.
we're like it's just interesting. But yeah, especially in our field, I guess.
I feel like we've been listening to a lot of like kind of outsider country when we drive just because it's just good songwriting and nice to listen to. Like Bill Fay or Art Lone or
Drewski. Roy
yeah.
Drewski.
Yeah, I was gonna say, since you guys got some long bus rides between stops out in Middle America, who's got aux in the bus? What are you guys listening to on the bus?
Whoever's
Whoever
driving,
drives. Yeah.
whoever drives. Yeah, we all switch off except for our tour manager, Jobin.
So you guys are in Boise right now, and then you're going over to Oregon, Washington, heading down California, heading down all the way to Texas, Georgia, making your way back around and up, ending up in New York. Your last show is at Irving Plaza, right, in New York City?
Yes,
Is that your biggest venue that you've done to date?
as our own show, that's the biggest venue ever, and so it's a big feat. But yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, how excited are you guys for that?
I was so excited.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be, yeah, definitely a moment in time for us, being from New York and seeing shows there, growing up, all that.
And it's a sweet bill that we have. We're playing with this band TVOD, who's Next Level Energy, and then a new band called Nine Perfect Lives.
Yeah, that's really cool. Are they both New York based?
They're both New York based and really, really awesome. So it's going to be a really cool night.
Yeah. And then that's at the beginning of May. Then what are you guys doing for the summer?
Yeah, we're hitting the drawing board.
Yeah, just taking some time, which is gonna be nice. I mean, we've been on the road for like 3.5 years now, or a little under, yeah, like 3 years. So it's just gonna be nice to, yeah, focus on just writing, making songs.
Because it's now been a few years since, you came out with your debut, and even obviously now a few years since the second album. The third one was last year. But and because you've been doing so many live shows, cranking over the past few years, how do you feel that performing these songs live, have they developed different meanings to you, or how have they evolved in the past 3-ish years that you've been playing some of them?
You're always trying to like change it up a little bit and like make them feel new in any way. So whether it's how we connect two songs together or in a new way, or just improvise when we can to keep them fresh and give the audience something you don't get from listening to a recording. So any way we can do that is like the way to keep them evolving and keep them fresh and keep us fresh as musicians too. Like be present on stage as opposed to just like robots playing the same thing every night.
Yeah, playing the recording over and over
Yeah.
again, but just performing
Which you can
it.
get at home, but like it's cool to give someone something at the show that they'll be like, oh my God, like I wonder if this has ever happened before. Like that's so cool about live music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just trying to deliver some sort of energy, because at the end of the day, whether we've played these songs a million times, like that is our job when we play live shows, to bring, we're in charge of the energy of the night, and that's kind of the task at hand.
Yeah, well, I think you guys do a great job at delivering that energy. Like I said, I got to see you guys at the beginning of the tour. And for anybody watching, if you live in any of the area, working your way, you've already passed through a little bit of Canada, Chicago, Cleveland, Milwaukee. So if you're in any of those, sucks to suck. They'll see you next time. But if you're anywhere, California, Arizona, Texas, working your way back around, I cannot recommend checking out The Thing enough. Where can people find you guys?
On the street.
Yeah. Then yeah, after May, we're doing Shebang Festival in San Luis Obispo in early May. Like we're doing Pleasantville Music Festival up in like Westchester, New York at some point, I think. And then there's just a couple random shows. I think we're gonna be playing Stevens Talkhouse again out in Amagansett some point this summer.
Long Island, yeah.
Yeah, Long Island.
And again.
Yeah, and Irving Plaza. That's going to be
Yeah.
the culmination of everything we've been doing for a long time. So that's a big one.
True. Well, I'll be sure to tag where people can go to find the dates for your tour, and your Instagram and YouTube. And guys, I cannot thank you guys enough for.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
some
Gavin.
time.
You're the man, Gavin.
Great.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. Good luck on the rest of the tour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Very exciting. As you're only a third of the way through. So you're almost there. You only
Only a
just
third?
have like
True.
24 more shows or something
Yeah.
It's like a prison process.
of your own design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you,
man.
Gavin.
Have a good one.